Alright everybody, so the big PvE update is coming tomorrow, and in that update, it's going to be a raid update, a raid drop rate update, and from that, I can almost guarantee that a lot more newbies are going to be trying to do these raids, trying to do these normal raids, and newbies into raids can be a very, very dangerous thing if you don't know what you're doing. You can very easily mess up the raid for other people that ends up in a failure, and everybody's just annoyed and pissed off at you. So I'm making this video to talk about what you shouldn't do in raids, how to not mess up raids for other people. So right off the bat, I'm going to recommend you guys take stone apples, and you guys take Ventus elixirs. Any type of Ventus elixir will work. The reason for that is stone apples will give you super armor and a little bit of defense, and Ventus elixirs will just help you just move a lot easier because you will be dodging a lot of stuff. As much as, like, if you're doing raid and you're new, you're probably not going to be doing much damage. You're going to rely on other people to do damage. So along with that, if your class has buffs or debuffs, learn what those debuffs are, and like learn how to use them effectively. I'm not sure of all of them, so I can't really give you guys recommendations right now, but just kind of be aware of your debuffs and buffs and use them effectively. For example, if you're a Comet Crusader, if you're not using Wonderwall, if you're not using Pandemonium, then you're not using your buffs effectively. Like if you're new, you don't do much damage. You're not going to do much damage anyway, so don't focus on doing damage. Focus on your debuffs and buffs, because no matter how geared or ungeared you are, a debuff or a buff will always be as effective. Alright, so I'm going to go through the story mode and kind of explain, like, what you guys should and shouldn't do. Obviously, the story mode's a bit different in terms of, like, damage and stuff like that, but the boss fights themselves don't change much. So hopefully I can do this all in kind of one go. So, not much needs to be said about this first raid. It's pretty easy. If you're getting carried, this should just be a buy. It should be super easy. The people you're going with should be able to carry you. If they can't, that might be a sign that the rest of the raids might be trouble for that party. Okay, so with the heads, the only thing you really need to know is that the heads do respawn if you don't kill them fast enough. I'm not sure of the time limit. I think it's like a minute or so. But if you don't kill the heads fast enough, they will respawn. So if you notice that, for example, your DPS is intentionally not killing the heads completely and they're leaving it at like a couple bars left, don't kill them. Because if they're doing that on purpose, that means, you know, they're trying to just like get them low and then they go, oh, nuke them at once. That is a strategy for like weaker-ish people that can still do the raid. That doesn't usually happen in this fight though, because this fight is just that easy. But the next fight is going to be a consistent theme throughout all of, I would say, the humanoid raid fights. In that, if it's a humanoid Rosso fight, you want to stay in the middle. That is so crucial. That is so important. Stay in the middle during all these humanoid fights. I will point them out in every single fight, but this is the first one, and I hope you can get accustomed to it, of staying in the middle. The reason for that is if you don't want the boss to go all these weird directions, it messes up with damage, it messes up with trying to do like certain things and dodging certain attacks, and it just makes it a huge hassle for everybody. So bottom, middle, especially for this fight, bottom, middle. Even if you're getting hit, even if you're getting damage, you're like, oh, the fire pillar's here, I don't want to get hit. It doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. Especially if you're starting out, it's more important that you don't mess it up for other people than it is for you to not die. If you die in these raids, especially starting out, don't worry about that. Honestly, don't worry about that. You will get better. Like, you'll get better at dodging attacks. You'll get better at, like, learning what to do. You can skill freeze through most of these attacks. I will point out which attacks you cannot skill freeze through. Most of these attacks you can skill freeze through. So again, remember, your life is not as important as like a DPS life. As harsh as that sounds, I know that sounds harsh, but it's true. Like you won't complete a raid if the DPS is dying or like getting hit and things like that. Okay, so the third fight is kind of similar to the first fight in a way. These guys are a bit more tankier and the area is bigger. Something people will do is go to head 3. So again, if you're a buffer or a debuffer and somebody says they want to go to head 3, if you're a buffer for them, be like, I'll go there with you. Also, another thing to point out, once you get these heads specifically under about 30 or so, maybe 20, they will do this thing. They will summon, there will be a pink line there, and there will be a twister. That twister ignores iframes. So, skill freeze, awakening, all that stuff. So with this fight, something I like to do is, oh my goodness. Something I like to do is go to head 3, and kill head 3, kill head 4, and while I'm doing that, people should be able to kill heads 1 and 2. That is something you might see. Again, you can assist people in that kind of strategy. Also, something actually pretty interesting you can do as a weaker person, like lower geared person, is called tuning the heads. It might not be important in a highly geared party, but something you can do since you have low damage is when the DPS gets them to like maybe like 30 or 40 bars, you can do tuning the heads, which is just doing your damage normally. But since your damage is a lot lower, you'll obviously be doing, you know, less damage, so you can get the boss a little bit lower, so it's easier to nuke them all at once. Something to consider here. But yeah, same thing as the first fight. Once you kill one of the heads, you have about around 60 seconds to kill all the other 3 heads. And this fight can go bad even with good DPS, because sometimes a really good DPS will kill them, kill a couple really fast, and then like a DPS that isn't as strong will not kill them as fast, and they start to respawn. If that starts happening, just be like, okay guys, let's just try to get them low and then nuke them all at once. Alright, but that's the first fight. Let's go into Neverending Darkness. I'm actually going to skip the first fight in terms of this video because it's not hard at all. You hit the red spikes with skills, you hit the gray spikes with commands. That's pretty much it. It's not that important, and you can't really mess anything up in this fight. So I'm just going to skip it completely. Alright, so I'm working on the last few spikes here, and I will start talking about the next fight. So the next fight is very important. It introduces, like, well, it was in the fight earlier, but it introduces a targeting mechanic. During the raid, certain bosses will target a player, and attacks will be aimed at that player. As soon as this fight starts, the big eye in the middle will target one of the players. Obviously, I'm the only one here, so it's only going to target me. But it will target one of the players. If it targets you, you either go to the left or go up. Please. Either go to the left or go up, because what will happen is it will shoot a giant laser at you. Even if the laser hits you, it might kill you instantly depending on how weak you are, but it might not. So here, either go to the left or go up. And then once the targeting thing goes away, you keep running a little bit, and then it fires. There you go. Because most people will be trying to kill the bud on the bottom right. Most people will be trying to kill the bud on the bottom right, because once you kill it, this barrier breaks on the boss, and then you can start hitting the boss. Also, the little buds will target you. You don't have to worry too much about the little buds targeting you, because they will do minimal damage, and people pretty much have good adaptation. When this happens, you want to kill all the buds. When like they're kind of all like have this crazy aura, just kill all the buds. Nothing too big. But yeah, the important thing to note is that first initial laser. It will target one of the players. I don't know if your graphics are lower. At least if you had to put your graphics low, I do as well. And when I do normal raids, put your effect graphic on medium. If you have to do everything on low, put everything on low, but put effects on medium, or middle, I mean, because that will make it so you can see you will still be able to see the boss attacks, but it won't be so overwhelming that you can't see like anything. Like you can't like move at all. You have so much lag. Hopefully this video will give you guys the knowledge to actually know what to do. Like if you start making mistakes and you know, that's on you. If you don't know, that's not your fault. But that's why I'm making this video right now, so you guys will know. Alright, so as this fight starts, don't worry. People might be talking about freezing. Don't worry too much about freezing. Especially if you're new, you don't know how to freeze the boss. I say don't worry about it. Again, tell people if you're new to raid and you don't know much. Alright, obviously this boss fight starts with a spin. There's nothing really you can do during the spin to mess people up unless you freeze the boss while the spin starts. Oh my gosh, I hit. Unless you hit the boss while the spin starts. That might tick some people off because people are used to like avoiding the spin, you know, running around him and stuff like that. So don't do that. Just don't do that. Only freeze if you know what you're doing while you're freezing. Okay, again, targeting laser. If everybody, for example, is on the left side of the boss, I want to be on the right side, try to target up here, there. Hopefully that doesn't hit anybody. Again, this is where stone apples come into play. Say you're trying to dodge this attack, stone apple right before it hits you, and then use some type of evasive skill to get away, or like maybe drop down the platform as your stone apple's on you. Because even though you're getting hit, stone apples will give you that super armor so you can just kind of escape it. So let's say, for example, I'm getting hit. Or you can also just kind of potion spam, you know? Potion spam through this, depending on your defense. Obviously, it's a story mode, so I'm not taking that much damage. But yeah, it's a good way to avoid that attack. Alright, I'm going to get him low to get to his major attack. Again, another laser. Something I like to do as a Raven is as soon as the targeting thing's gone, Shadow Step, and he'll still target that side. It's a Raven exclusive tech for y'all. Okay, so I think he'll start to do Spike Tower. Spike Tower is very important. What you want to do is aim the tower. Oh my goodness. I got it. Ooh, gosh, sorry about that. Aim the tower so it hits the eyeball. It needs to hit the eyeball, I think, about 5 times. A major mistake new players will do. Oh, I got hit there, actually. A major mistake new players will do is they will be away from the boss because they are scared of the spike tower. I understand. I understand it's very scary, but this is what happens, guys. People will be in a flow of dodging spike tower. I'll try to get it again to show you guys kind of the flow. People will be in a flow of dodging spike tower, going in and out, trying to dodge it. If you are like, if the boss is in the middle, like it is right, oh, he's about to move. If the boss is right there, for example, and he has spike tower, well, okay. It looks like I'm gonna have to wait for him. Yeah, do your spin. Also, when he's under half, he will, flip the spin. I think about right now-ish. Try to stay in the middle. I like to stay in the middle of, both of the thorns. Like, don't try to get too ahead of them so you can get ready for the spin flip. But yeah, try to stay with the team. Please stay with the team, because if you don't, you're gonna break people's flow, and you're gonna make it so annoying for people, and you're wasting time. You might kill some people. It's just a horrible time. So there you go. Here's the flow. So you go in, and then once the tower forms, you can go back. Once the tower forms, you can go back. You can still use some evasive moves, like if Shadow Step, for example. Shocking has an air dash. It'll target a random player, so no one really knows who's getting targeted. But again, if the boss is here, and you're over here, you're making it hard for other people. You're messing up people's flow, you're wasting time, and you might kill somebody on accident. Because somebody might be like, alright, I'm with the flow of dodging this boss, so I go out. And it's just like, oh wait, the spike tower didn't happen. What happened? Oh, somebody was over here and he dodged it, and now it's under this player, and they aren't prepared for it, and it messes with them and they die. So you literally killed somebody just because you're standing away from the boss. Again, I'm going to repeat this multiple times. If this boss uses spike tower, do not stand far away from the boss. Stand close to the boss, close with the party, please. Please, I understand that it's scary. I understand that you don't want to die. Don't worry about that. Clearing the raid still gets you bar progress on your FOJ weapon. You still get progress on your bar, and then you still get the progress from, like, clicking the get button for the Mystic Stones. It's like, are you worried about like a Mystic Stone drop or an accessory drop? Don't worry about that too much, especially when you're starting off raids. The drop rate for these accessories are extremely low. It's more important that you do a good raid than try to make a good raid for yourself. You know, that's a very selfish mentality. All right, now for the third raid. This one is the most important and the most difficult. There's quite a few things that can go wrong here, mostly in the third fight, but things can very easily go wrong in these other fights. So I'll try to my best to kind of explain them. Sorry, for this fight, if you have a strong enough party, you should be able to get this fight over very quick. Important things to note. Every single one of this boss's limbs is a hitbox. The hand is a hitbox. These little cones are a hitbox. All that stuff. Okay, this boss will always start with a petrification laser. If you have freezing, do not freeze early. Freeze like right there, around there, when it's like swooping through. Do not freeze early. Just kind of freeze while swooping through. Also be careful of these arms as they will explode. There's not that much to know at the moment, but the boss will eventually do this attack, where it kind of gathers around itself. Though you'll see the spinning disc, and then it'll summon all these orbs. You can't mess up people during this, but after this attack, the boss will do another attack you have to pay attention for. I'll try to show it off a couple times, because this is a very easy trap for people who have not done the raid that often. Alright, so I'll wait for the orbs to finish, move very slowly, you know. Again, don't worry too much if you die. It's okay if you die. It's literally so okay if you die. So, after the boss does the orbs, if it goes into the background, okay, run to the left or right. Run to the left or right, go to this small platform, and when it stomps down, go back to the middle. Go back to the middle. Now, I did that correctly. I will show you guys an example of not doing it correctly. I'll probably, like, skip to it at the moment. Okay, the boss is doing orbs again, so I might as well talk about this. So, I'll talk about I guess I'll call it the slam attack. The slam attack always happens, after the orbs. So, another strategy you can do, if you're not a DPS, if you're not really, maybe you can put a buff in. After this attack is done, the orbs, go to the left. Get prepared already. Go to the left or right and get prepared. Because you don't want to be slow. Because I'll try to show you what happens when you're too slow. It's like, oh, he's doing it. Oh no, I'm too late. Oh no, I got hit. And then look, a spike tower formed under you. And guess what happens when that spike tower formed under you? Guess what happens? Platforms are now gone. Certain platforms are gone on the very, very bottom. So if somebody's coming back from here, and it's like, oh, you made holes, then they die. Because if you fall in this raid at all, might as well show it off. If you fall in this raid at all, it is instant death. It's not like other pits in this game. If you fall in this raid, it's instant death. And obviously those spike towers also, you know, instant death. So don't be late. If you have to go early right after the orbs, go early. You know? Also, another strategy, if you feel like you're not confident in your timing, use the right side. Most people will use the left side. If you're not too confident, use the right side. This is going to be another humanoid fight. And remember what I said for humanoid fights. Always stay in the middle. That does not change here. It is exactly like the second fight of the first raid. Always stay in the middle. I know attacks can be scary. You know, taking damage doesn't feel good. But again, always stay in the middle. I know it sounds so simple, but it's crazy how many people don't listen. Because again, the boss will track to you and try to attack you. Alright. Now, this boss has the, as you can see, the boss has the spikes from the last raid boss. And same rules apply. If you have good commands, try to hit the gray spikes. Gray spikes are very annoying to get rid of. You can have like what I have with like the Rosso ring, kind of doing the flame debuff, even though I think Ventus is better. I think you guys should have Ventus. If you have good commands, you know, use it to kill the spikes. Be careful, obviously, because his attacks will obviously go through your commands, but not through your skills. Okay. So now I'm just waiting for one of his super attacks, really. I might cut to it just to save time. Here it is. No, I actually didn't need to. If this happens, again, run to the left or to the right. If he's holding his head like that, left or right, see the pink line, and then run away. If you do not do that like I did that, watch. You see that? The platforms went away. If you do that right here, the platforms will still go away. If you do that in the very center, technically the platforms won't go away, but it'll be where the boss is. It's where everybody will want to come back, so you'll kill people like that. Always go to left or right. That is non-optional. Always go there early, you know, if you need to. As soon as you see that animation play, go to the left or right. Now this boss has one more super attack I will show off, so I'm just kind of waiting for it right now. Here we go, perfect timing. Alright, with this, you really can't mess people up, so I wouldn't worry too much about messing people up here. Again, just go for the empty space. If you have a giant spot on, you might be too tall. If you have a sitting motion, I hear sometimes that might help to, like, save you. It depends on the sitting motion, I think, though. Okay, but there we go. I'll show off the first tornado attack one more time so you guys know how you can easily mess it up for people. Alright, here's another tornado attack. So if you're late, once the pick line forms, it's over. There's no moving after that. Once that pick line forms, that's done. That goes through skills, it breaks the platforms. If somebody did it correctly and they're on the outer edge, and you just made that hole right there, they might not be prepared for it. They might be trying to run back and don't realize somebody made a hole, because somebody shouldn't be making a hole here. And then you messed up the raid. It is your fault. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna fall. Yeah, I am. That too. This final fight, guys, is the most important. You do not want to mess up this final fight, because this is it. You know, this is it. If you get to this point and you fail, everybody's gonna be angry, everybody's gonna be annoyed. You just made it to the final fight, you didn't beat it. But things can very, very easily go wrong, and it's just a simple thing that people always mess up. And it's understandable, but still, once you know about it, you shouldn't be messing it up. Again, an early reminder is, if you're starting out, if you're new to raid, if you don't do much damage, your life isn't as important as the people doing damage. It really is not. I know that sounds harsh, but your life, you living is not as important as you messing things up. And it all comes down to this. So when that forms, it's the same spike tower as in the last raid fight. Same way to avoid it. You stay with the boss, you stay in the middle. Again, guys, stay in the middle during this entire fight. Even if the boss teleports to somebody right here, and you're trying to hit him over here, still, try to stay in the middle so you can get him reoriented. Because at any point, he can teleport to a player. Well, at almost any point. So again, stay in the middle. Also, if you get hit during one of these fire debuffs, you will be healing the boss with your attacks. Which shouldn't matter too much if you're weak, but it can still be annoying, so try not to. Alright, So every minute, every 1 minute after the first tower, another tower will spawn. So it might take a little bit for this. I might just cut to it. The way you can tell is if he jumps in the middle. There we go. I dodged it correctly again. Next time, I'll dodge it incorrectly. And again, do not move too early. That's a big mistake I see a lot of people making because they're afraid. They're afraid of dying. They're afraid of getting hurt. So they will move early. Do not move early. The red outline doesn't form immediately. It takes a second or two to form once he gets into the sky. Once he gets into the sky, that's when you get ready. That's not when you leave. That's when you get ready to leave. Okay? Again, this is why you took your Ventus pots to move faster. You should be able to move very, very quickly with the Ventus pot. So don't worry too much about not dodging it. And even if you don't dodge it, guys, it's okay. It's honestly okay if you don't dodge it and you die a couple times. Even if you die all 3 times, that's okay. You're still getting bar progress towards an FOJ. You're still, getting Mystic Stones from just clearing the raid. It's okay. It's more important that the raid is cleared than if you survive. It really is. Alright. Oh man, he teleported up there, but I mistimed it, and look at that. Now there is a pit. These pits, unlike the other fight, this one I didn't tell you guys, if there is a pit in the second fight, once the Rosso does the laser thing, then all the platforms come back. Platforms will never, ever, ever come back in this fight. They will never come back. People will just have to deal with these pits. Certain skills, will push people back. And look at that. I got pushed back into the pit because of my own skill. But it wasn't my fault because somebody else made a pit. And that's what will happen. If you make pits, you will 9 times out of 10... Okay, not 9 times out of 10, but like... Pretty much 9 times out of 10, you will kill people. If you make a pit, you will kill people. So be aware of that. Again, even if you make a pit, though, don't feel too bad because oh no, I made 1 pit, I ruined this whole raid. Just apologize and just try to not make that mistake again. That's all you need to do. Alright. So, I'll show you guys the timing again. Once he teleports in the sky, that is not when you should move. That is when you get ready to move. He teleports in the sky, red outline, spike tower. Teleports in the sky, red outline, spike tower. You move when the red outline forms, not when he goes in the sky. Do not move early. Do not move early because you will make pits if you move early. Also, you technically don't have to be in the exact center. You can be a little bit off, but I want you guys to focus on being in the exact center because it's better safe than sorry. Let's see if I can get it one more time to show you guys. Again, sky, red outline, tower. Don't worry about anything else except for the red outline. You're looking for that red outline. Focus on that. Do not move if he just moves there. Red outline, that's what I'm looking for. Again, the Ventus pot will help you. I have no Ventus pot and I'm still moving away from it perfectly fine. Ventus pot will help you. If there are spikes in the way and you can't move, again, it's okay if you die. It's honestly okay if you die. Don't worry about not dying. It's more important that you don't mess up. You don't make these mistakes where you ruin the raids for people than if you yourself doesn't die. I know I'm repeating that a lot, but it's staggering. It is honestly staggering to see how many people mess up raids. Alright, so let's finish this up. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the gist of it. Again, I would say do story mode before you do actual raids. Do story mode a couple of times. Get a good feel for these attacks. Because none of these attacks will change between story mode and hell mode. I mean, not hell mode, the normal mode. None of these attacks will change. They'll be stronger, they'll hit harder, but how you dodge them will never change. Remember all the lessons I gave you, and again, the most important fights is that last fight, well, pretty much all the fights in the third raid. Again, remember all I said, go through this video a couple times. If people are messing up your raids, send them this video, maybe send them to the third fight just as I see that. Again, don't move too early. Let's talk about the third fight, obviously. Don't move too early. Look for the red outline, and don't worry about dying. That's the main thing I can tell you guys, is don't be too afraid of dying. If you die, that's okay. Take that as a lesson. For me, it took I would say 6 months to get my weapon, and that's doing it once a week. You guys are going to be able to do it maybe 3 times a week. There's going to be a double drop rate event going on. So this is going to take time regardless. You're not going to get it in the first fight. Even if the weapon drops in the first fight, you're just like, man, I died 3 times. Don't worry too much about that. You're going to get it eventually. You're honestly going to get it eventually. I've gotten 3 weapons to drop when the bar was right here. 3 weapons to drop when the bar was right here. You're going to get it eventually. Don't worry too much about dying even if you get the drop. Don't worry too much about it. Alright. But still, I hope you guys have fun in the raid. It's some of the best PvE content I've ever played in this game. It's so fun. You know, how coordinated it is, how difficult it is at the same time. I love it a lot. But yeah, you don't want to mess this up for other people, because people will label you as the type of person like, oh, don't take this person, they're going to mess up the raid, and you don't want that label on you, because then you'll almost never get an FOJ only if you do it in story mode, and it is slower to get in story mode. But regardless, guys, that's the video. I'm sorry for rambling a lot, but this is very important because I know a lot of people will be doing, a lot of newbies will be doing raid tomorrow. And even if you have done raid before but you didn't know a lot of these things, because maybe people will carry you, it's important to know those facts and to just share those facts with other people. If you're not doing raid and you're just watching these videos just to have these fun, if you're only going to do story raid, you're not going to do actual raid, you can tell your people about it. And then now you have the knowledge. Now you have the knowledge to tell other people what they should do and all that stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have fun with the awesome PvE updates tomorrow. I mean, I'm going to make a video detailing like all the stuff going on, how great the event is. But for today, that's all there is to know. So hope you guys had a good time. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. All that good stuff. And I will see you guys next time.